If you behave yourself all week, I don't know.
Testing, testing. Here I am on L3. That sounds fine. Okay.
It's like the best pocket. This is why I've started only wearing my black leggings with pockets in them. So this is L1, L1. Yes, that is me on L1, and that sounds great. Thank you.
chairs here, I see. And we're going to get the juices flowing. I'm going to do this song, It Ain't Necessarily So, which, by the way, comes from the first Unitarian opera. That will become clear to you when we sing the second half of the first verse. And I picked it because it takes a lot of imagination to read the Bible and try to take some meaning out of it. And this song is about an attempt to do that by George and Ari Gershwin and I can't remember his name, Haywood. So we're going to do this as a call and response. There are 5 verses. The first verse I will sing, the first phrase in the verse, and then I will go like this, and you will repeat it. That'll happen only 5 times, so don't get too excited. And, it's pretty simple, and why don't we just get started? Jeremy. To get into heaven. I apologize. You guys did such a good job singing along. Carry the morning. We'll go with Ain't Necessarily So one more time. It ain't necessarily so. It ain't necessarily so. They tell all the children the devil's a villain, but it ain't necessarily so. To get into heaven, don't shout for a 7, live clean and have no fault. Now I dig the gospel whenever it's possible, but with a grain of salt. Years in the sand, Methuselah lived 900 years again. Who calls that living when no gal will get with no man which I I'm preaching this sermon to show it ain't necessarily so. Very forgiving audience. The Unitarians
much. Good morning. Good morning. It's so wonderful to see all of you here this morning, newcomers, longtime members, and those watching online. Hello. My name is Amber Marcus, and I am pleased to be your celebration associate this morning. May we gather today to nurture our connections, seek inspiration, and embrace change. Imagination is our theme for May. What world do you imagine? How can you imagine and illuminate our next steps? We have many activities this week, so please read the announcements in your order of service or check the sanctuary screens to learn more. At 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 31st, we will have the organists here, one of whom was here for the very first recital 50 years ago, and we will be celebrating Stephanie, so we look forward to seeing you there. Cheryl has... What's that?
Mostly the birthday party.
Mostly it's the birthday party of the organ. Cheryl has an announcement about the Adirondack registration.
Absolutely. You may be wondering why I'm carrying a paddle, a kayak paddle. Well, it's to get your attention. It's to get your attention. Sorry. People online hearing it and not seeing it might not get this. I'm holding a kayak paddle. Come discover Adirondack, whether you're new or returning camper. This 3-day, 3-night retreat, September 5th through 8th, offers a joyful mix of community, nature, and fun for all ages, and I'm serious, all ages, and abilities, just 3 hours from Ithaca. It's on the western side of the Adirondacks. This well-equipped camp, however rustic it might be, has modern cabins as well, and you may even tent. It was founded by Universalists in the 50s, so it's seen its age, but they've been keeping it up, and Unitarians are welcomed, and it's a great way to, it's reserved every year for our FUSIT community and friends. It's family and friendly, welcoming, and a great way to build connections. Sorry, I don't have my glasses, so I'm working on this. We cook and share meals together, with each group sharing in the preparing of the meal. But don't worry. It's very easy to jump in and learn the ropes as you are in your team. Whether you're an old-timer or brand new, you'll feel right at home. Registration is only until the 31st of this month. That means you have a week to go. So please sign up on the FUSIT website or see me after service. Thank you very much. I hope to see you there.
Thank you, Cheryl. And now we have an announcement from Preston about summer services.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Preston Wilson, and on behalf of the Summer Services team of myself, Matt Frankie Singer, Vicki McMillan, Mike Daniels, and Jack Zinda, I offer the following. Spiritual summer services are held in the parlor each Sunday morning from 9:30 to 10:30, starting June 15th. Following a shortened liturgy, including live and recorded music, members of this society and guests give sermons on a variety of topics focused on UU interests and values, which are followed by moderated discussions among the attendees. These services provide a friendly and stimulating way for us to stay in touch with each other during the long summer season. Coffee and tea provided by George and Pat Henkel are provided after the services. This summer speakers are as follows. June 15th, Don Barber with music by Jesse Bates. June 22nd, Jim Garbarino with music by a group called Emily, the Graves, and Nathaniel. June 29th, Reverend Joseph Boyd. June 6th, Bob Parks and Angela Zhang. July 13th, Howard Nelson with music by Roberta Crawford. July 20th, Preston Wilson. July 27th, Carol Whitlow with music by the Hospicare Threshold Singers. August 3rd, the Savage Club Folk Group, including Fred Belfour, Paul Whitehouse, Jack Roscoe, and George Henkel. August 10th, Vicki McMillan with music by Kevin Moss. August 17th, Rod Howe. August 24th, Caitlin Hunter with Elizabeth Bixler with music by Jack Zinda. And August 31st, Taylor Mugambi. A complete plus updates if needed schedule, along with the topics to be discussed, will appear in the June newsletter. The weekly announces issues throughout this summer, the UU listserv, the internal FUSIT Facebook page, and on the street side bulletin cabinet on Buffalo Street. In there, you will find the topics listed for all the speakers. So I hope this has piqued your curiosity, and we'll see you on Sunday morning throughout the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Preston. And now an announcement from Emily.
Hi, friends. All right, for one of the only times ever, I'm going to invite you to get your cell phones out. Get your cell phones out. Yeah, open up your calendar app, right? We are coming to the end of our church year before we shift into summer programming, and there are some things I'd like you to put in your calendar. Are you ready? All right. This Thursday is the Ithaca Festival Parade. Please come and march with us. We have 3 spots in a vehicle for anyone who wants to participate. That sounds physically challenging. Let Madeline know if you want one of those 3 spots. It's her husband's car. So put that in your calendar. That will be 6 p.m. on Thursday. We also need more people to come and table at the Ithaca Festival table, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Super, super fun, 2-hour shift. You get to hang out and tell people how awesome we are and do things like give them stickers and invite their kids to play in the sandbox. Super fun. You always do it with a partner. So if you are interested in that, stick that in your calendar. That could be the 30th, 31st, or 1st of June. It was already mentioned, but the organ is having a birthday party, and this is a huge deal. This is 50 years of this gorgeous instrument being here in this space. That is at 2 p.m. on Saturday, May 31st. So stick that in your calendar right now. Free concert. It's going to be amazing, and another opportunity for us to tell Stephanie how amazing she is. And then on Saturday, June 7th, and this is important, right, because this is a shift in when we normally do our final service at Stewart Park. It's on a Saturday. So put it in your calendar now so you don't show up on Sunday and wonder where all the really great food is that everyone has made for the potluck, right? So that's on a Saturday. Oh, and the last thing is June 1st. Sorry, I mentioned them chronologically. June 1st is our Pride service, which is super fun, and we are going to retake that picture out front where we all dress up like a rainbow and we stand in front of the building on that corner. So please wear solid rainbow colored clothing so we can all line up and get an amazing picture to put up on our website and our Facebook page. Also, any RE families, we are gonna do our party in the park as a party in the annex today because the weather forecast looks terrible and it doesn't sound like any fun to be at Stewart Park today. So RE families, 2 o'clock here in the annex. All right, that's it. I hope you've got it all down.
Thank you, Emily. So if you're new or visiting for the very first time, you can tell how much fun we have, first of all, based on all those amazing announcements. And also, please fill out a yellow card and place in the offertory plate or hand it in to the newcomers table where we have conversation, drinks, beverages after service, and we look forward to seeing you there. Now that you've entered all the dates into your cell phone, please silence them for the remainder of service. Thank you. Before we light this chalice, please take a moment to greet those around you briefly. fear not. Thank you. You will have more time to catch up later. Okay, rowdy Unitarians, it's time to settle down. That's why we have coffee and conversation afterwards. Fear not. Stephanie's going to light our chalice today. All right. Please join me in saying the chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
I don't know about you, but did you all just kind of feel a lift in your heart when the sun came out? Can we have a little applause for the sun? I'm told tomorrow may follow, so we can all get out into those gardens that we've been feeling sad that we can't get to. So imagination, boy, when Emily and I saw there was a theme for this month, and given the woes of the world, our first response, well, I probably can't say it here, right? It's not nice words. We're like, are you kidding me? But actually, it's been a journey to kind of really dig deep, as I imagine you all are in living in this time. How do we imagine a world we wish to have be with us? So come, let us gather in the spirit of imagination today, not to escape the world, but to see it more clearly and to love it more fiercely. Imagination is not idle. It is the muscle of the soul that allows us to dream, to build, to shape a world where dignity is not a dream, but a shared foundation. In a time when fear floods our minds so often, and despair whispers that nothing can change, we return to this place to remember that imagination is sacred. Here we make room for stories that heal, for visions that disrupt, for hope that takes root, not in certainty, but in courageous longing, yearning. Let this hour be a sanctuary for all of us, where we tend to the fire of possibility and dare to imagine a world made whole. Let us begin.
As I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 300, I'm also going to invite our young people that Madeline just asked to do our baskets to come up and grab a basket for our Side with Love collection. You can find the lyrics on the screens behind me. me looking here. All right. Okay. Does anyone who has opened the Wonder Box like at all church year? Have you ever opened the Wonder Box? No. Did anyone ever never open it? Have you ever opened the Wonder Box? Come on up. Come on up, friend. This is a special Wonder Box here. Yeah, go ahead. Open it up all the way. Can you pull the things inside out?
It's a jar of honey and
Yeah, it's a hand crochet little lavender flower. So today is the final day of our religious exploration programming before we shift to summer services. And that means that we have some really, really special people to thank today. So there are so many amazing adults in this community who have helped our religious exploration programming and events for children and youth this year. Ooh, suddenly I got very loud. So we have these beautiful crocheted lavender flowers. And we have honey, right? So you all, everyone that helped to us to grow amazing things this year, right? And we wanted to add a little bit of sweetness for the sweetness that you bring into our lives and into the lives of our children. But before we start, I wanted to ask any of you here, friends, is there anything that you'd like to share? Any thank yous for the adults in your lives this year here at church? Thank yous for, do you want to share a thank you? What do you want to say thank you for?
I'm grateful for being born.
We're grateful for being born too. Yeah. Anyone, do you want to say a thank you to one of your teachers?
Thank you for working with us.
Thank you for working with us. Guthrie.
Thank you for providing support and offering up a space for us to exist in.
Okay, what you got, Waldo?
Thanks for all the fun.
Thanks for all the fun. Okay. Eli, did you want to say thank you for something?
Thanks for not making this church super boring.
Thank you for letting us play D&D as our curriculum.
Yeah. Really fun. Yeah, thanks. You want to say, here, I'll come this way. I'll come all the way over here. What you got?
Thanks for all the snacks.
Thanks for all the snacks. Anyone else want to thank you for? All right, I'm going to start reading off names of people, and Madeline's going to have some of our young people help to gift those of you that are here, because I know not everyone who worked with our RA program could be here today. So I'm going to start with our pre-K to first grade teachers. So that's John Hiller, Juliana Garcia, Megan McCormick, and Brisa Tusley. Any of you actually here? I know, that's so funny, right? They're like, we don't have to be in the classroom today, we're taking the week off. All right, our second to fifth grade classroom teachers is Jessica Brown.
Yes.
Brisa, again, Tusley, she did double duty. She swapped classes in the middle of the year. And Laura Timonen. I know, we can clap, but I know these next people are here. Elisa Hollandzinda. Oh, Jess is here. Jess Lloyd. Lloyd, you're okay? I know Valerie is.
If you get your name called, can you just stand up so
I know
they
you
know where you are?
Emily Dow. Nope. Scott. Oh, yeah. Grab your leaf. You want to get something out. Scott Whitlow. And who are you giving it to?
Scott, you want to raise your hand?
Scott's over there. I'm going to lose my place. MJ Erickson Eager. MJ here. Michelle Hochstetter. Oh, MJ is there. MJ is there. Michelle Hochstetter. Jeff Strump. Beth Mudge. Over there. Yeah. Ben Caputi. Meredith Bourne. Alright, those are all of our people who helped fill in. And I want to give a special shout out. These next two are for the RE husbands. Yeah, so a huge thank you to Gareth Richards and Tony Natale. They are constant last-minute helpers, event setup, cleanup, filling envelopes at our kitchen tables, building things for us, right? Just all around amazing partners for Madeline and I. A huge thank you, and I don't think either of these people are here, to Andrew Pagliata and Audrey Hopkins. So these are our two main OWL facilitators for Our Whole Lives, which is our comprehensive sexuality education program. And a thank you to Edna Brown and Arthur Wall for filling in for that program a couple times as subs. And then to Madonna Stallman, Loretta Heimbuch, and Dorothy Stansel for being our Halloween crew and handing out Halloween candy for us. And a little moment of appreciation for our nursery staff workers who are not here because they're upstairs with our youngest children, Melissa, Faith, Phoebe, and Rosalind, and they make sure our smallest community members are cared for and loved each week. And to Madeline, without whom none of our RE programming this year would have been possible, and I cannot begin to express the depth of my gratitude. Thank you, Madeline. And another just small plug that we would love to see every single person in this room become involved in RE. And we have our awesome tree, which you'll notice has fruit hanging from it already with people's names on the back. And it could be something like being in the RE classroom. It can also be something as simple as sitting at the welcome table and making sure that families get signed in, going upstairs and doing some organizing for us on your own time. Tons of ways to help. We would love to see every single person here find a way to get involved in this programming. So thank you for your time, for your care, and for your love. The gifts that you have given to this community this year are so incredibly important and appreciated. And as I said, this is our final Sunday of RE programming. Don't worry, things continue over the summer, as Preston said. But there won't be programming for our children, so they get to go upstairs and go on a little adventure today with Madeline. So if you haven't signed your young person in, I invite you to do so now in the parlor. And for everyone else, I invite you to sing our children out with Where You Go, which you can find up on the screen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go.
That's the first time I said good morning and I heard the response. That's great. My name is Seema, and today, in the spirit of reverence, love, and care, we take time to bear witness to some of the joys and sorrows of our community and to share those events that call for our prayer and support, our praise and celebration. From Dariana Perez, I am so joyful for my community and all that it does to help each other through these hard times and others. I'm joyful there is a need board up. I feel that it needs to stay up because we are actively working the values we preach about. And that is beautiful. I'm joyful that someone picked my need from the board and fulfilled a need of mine. Thank you, Dia Gribshaw, for your kindness. I truly appreciate it. From Dariana. From Jeanette Knapp, and I'm sure many others, to Matt Hare, for his intrepid leadership of the stewardship team, and all members of the congregation who graciously welcomed the calls and visits from the stewards, shared their hopes for our future, and thank you to all who have pledged this spring or who intend to make our future bright. I will second that. Was such a joy to experience the stewardship process this year, and thank you to all those that discussed their hopes and joys with me and gave me a chance to connect with you and understand the joy that the church brings. All right. And now a chance to hold people in our thoughts and hearts. So, for those we are holding in our thoughts, in our hearts, and perhaps in our prayer, into this community, into this space of healing and hope, let us call these names out loud. For those we are holding silently in our hearts, let us take a moment of silence. We extend loving kindness to all in our world, and let us remember to extend loving kindness to ourselves. Today, tomorrow, and beyond, let our hands be outstretched in kindness, and let us strive to keep showing up to our lives and each other with an open heart. Love and courage to us all. Blessed be and amen.
Who could have imagined a person hired temporarily to play the organ on Sunday mornings would become our beloved director of music for the past 14 years?
Who would have imagined a woman initially destined to return to Senegal, where she completed doctoral research on iron deficiency anemia and the behavior of children, would generously nourish us spiritually as a congregation, much in need of greater vitality and wellness?
Who could have imagined that our director of music would become a treasured spiritual mentor, both in the ways she inspired seamless worship and in her actions, as a person whose generosity modeled the deepest UU values of compassion, interdependence, and a reverence for the inherent worth and dignity of every person?
Who could have imagined how vital the role of director of music would help to lessen our sense of isolation during the time of the pandemic, with the gift of her beautiful voice, her kind spirit, and who continues to create the beautiful slides each Sunday morning for our congregants listening to services online?
Who could have imagined that our director of music would not only envision a music series that intentionally lifted up underrepresented musicians, amplifying voices too often overlooked in the folk tradition, but also expand our sense of community by welcoming these artists with gourmet vegan dinners and thoughtfully arranged housing embodying hospitality as an act of justice and care.
But seriously, who could imagine a music director who would for many years provide all the cornbread for cider and cornbread communion?
Who could have imagined a director of music who perceived herself as not merely someone playing hymns, but as one who derived spiritual nourishment from becoming one with song in meditative presence, and would guide us to do the same, supporting us not just to sing, but to experience the sacred power of music as a pathway to unity, stillness, and transformation.
Who would imagine a director of music who would be the steadying presence through the ministries of not just 2 settled ministers, but 2 interim ministers, quietly carrying the threads of institutional memory and continuing to bring that grace and steadfast care?
Who could have imagined how much delight would come to the Ithaca Festival Parade with the introduction of the UU Ukulele Union under the direction of a music director who knows how to cultivate community through having great fun together?
Who could have imagined that one person could offer so much? Musician, mentor, spiritual companion, cultural curator, and quiet anchor through so many seasons of our collective change.
We give thanks to you, Stephanie, our music director of the past 14 years, who did far more than lead us in song. You ministered to us through presence, compassion, and the deep wisdom of harmony.
We are grateful for your unwavering dedication, for the beauty you brought to our worship, for the justice you wove into your choices, and the care you extended to all who cross our threshold each Sunday.
For all the Sundays, the rehearsals, the quiet acts of kindness behind the scenes, the soulful solos, the inclusive vision, the coordination of our cast musicians, and how you moved our music program in a vibrant direction with an exciting mix of classical and contemporary styles of music. We give thanks for your radiant joy.
Stephanie, you have truly ministered to us, and we are profoundly grateful. Your legacy lives in the spirit you now leave behind, in the songs still ringing in our hearts, and in the community you help shape.
And though we will miss you dearly, we send you forward with love, knowing that the gifts that you shared with us will continue to echo in our lives. And speaking of gifts, we have some modest gifts as an expression of our deep gratitude to present to you this morning.
Should be up there, maybe? Yes.
Each week, we take an offering to sustain the important ministries and the programs of this congregation and its presence in Ithaca. Giving to the plate is important. It's a symbol of our gratitude for this service and our ongoing commitment to support the work of the church. For those watching remotely, follow the instructions on the screen. For those attending in person, our ushers will pass the plate.
Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. Simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free. Truly wish to be.
You can join me in the offering dedication. May these gifts bring about connection, inspiration, and engagement within these walls and beyond.
If you're looking at your watch, you're like, oh my gosh, this is starting to come to the time of an average Baptist service. If you feel a need to hallelujah or just release some tension, by all means stand and give the praise. But if I can indulge you, if you can hang out, I want to share what haunted me all week, but hopefully will be a message of hope. Our reading is from Adrienne Marie Brown. Her early experience with racial justice, feminism, and community organizing deeply shape her worldview. I love this. With her sister Autumn, she is a co-host of a podcast entitled How to Survive the End of the World. And it's really terrific. She writes, "Imagination is the seed of everything we do. What we cannot imagine cannot come into being. We are in an imagination battle. The dominant narratives of our time are showing us death and endings. Capitalism and white supremacy are offering us apocalypse as the only option. We have to imagine beyond these endings. We have to imagine that while we build, while we fight, while we win, we have to create compelling visions of the world we want to live in and be moved by, even as we work and organize and resist what is in our midst. Imagination gives us permission to dream new futures, to shape them into being." Imagination is a spiritual power. We know that, right? Perhaps one of the most human things we do. Through it, we dream and create. We build bridges between the present moment and what we yearn for. Imagination gives birth to poetry and protest, and boy, are we doing that well. I love going to protest rallies now just to see the signs. It is the inner landscape through which we interpret the outer world, the unseen forces shaping our hopes, but also sometimes our fears, and always our choices. Imagination, as we know, is not always a liberating force. It is shaped, sometimes warped, by what we carry within. When fear takes root, imagination can become its accomplice. Instead of creating, it catastrophizes. Instead of opening, it retreats into avoidance or loops through worry. I remember such a day. There have been many, but this one I remember, March 27th to be exact. It had already been a hard day. You know, one of those days where the weight of the world is just weighing a little heavier. On my lunch break, I read an article about Timothy Snyder, the historian of fascism, who had made the sobering decision to leave the United States. His reason, an urgent warning about rising authoritarianism, shook something loose in me. It wasn't just what he said, though. It was how he said it. The clarity, the urgency, the way he and his colleagues were no longer asking if it could happen, but rather when. As I drove home that evening, fear overtook me, not just for myself, but especially for my adult children living far away. I imagined quickly, what if I couldn't reach them? I spiraled into dread. My imagination had been hijacked. But this just wasn't worry. It was something deeper, something more primal, an anxiety that had been simmering beneath the surface, suddenly rising. I felt my inner world closing in, bracing for an impact I couldn't really name, but felt was inevitable. That night, the understanding landed in me, not just in my thoughts, but in my body. This is what it means for imagination to be held hostage by fear. Imagination doesn't arise in a vacuum, of course. It's shaped by the terrain of our lives, both individually and collectively. It's shaped by what we've experienced, what we've survived, what we've feared, and how we've learned to protect ourselves. Each of us has these invisible routes our minds take, especially when we're under stress or facing uncertainty. And this is what I want to talk to you about. These are old patterns etched deep within us. And here's the thing, most of those internal maps, well, they were drawn a long time ago, for most of us in childhood. They were shaped by what we feared, what we lacked, and what we learned to do to keep ourselves safe. It's an evolutionary principle, very much needed. For me, part of that story began with moving. As a child, I moved often, so often that I often felt unrooted and very vulnerable. Always the new kid, always trying to catch up, never quite sure where I belonged or who I could trust. Growing up with limited financial means only added to this felt sense of instability. That constant searching for safety left a deep imprint. It created internal narratives that still try to shape now how I respond to fear or change. I want to invite you to turn inward with me and hear my story, but also the one that lives within you. Think about the way your life has been shaped. What messages do you carry about yourself? Messages that you didn't consciously choose, but somehow came to believe. Maybe they were planted in childhood, or maybe they took root in a moment of pain or confusion you had neither the chance to name or absorb or process. Notice what stirs within you. This kind of noticing is sacred. Because when we become aware of those old maps inside of us, those deeply worn, familiar patterns of thought and feeling, something does begin to stir when we bring it to our conscious awareness. We can discover a pause, a space between what happens and how we respond. And in that sacred space, we can begin to see the possibility in the now of another way of responding, a way shaped not by fear or habit, but by awareness, by courage, by holy imagination. For some of us, fear doesn't explode outward. No, for some of us, it turns inward. We shrink into retreat. Imagination becomes not a compass, but a shelter. And sometimes we all need that, absolutely. Escape is a necessary tool to survive and to know when to retreat. But when avoidance becomes the primary use of our imagination, we lose touch with its deeper power. Instead of helping us to envision new possibilities, it shelters us from the truths we actually need to face on. Let's be clear, we are all being shaped right now, every day, by what we are collectively absorbing. The headlines, the commentary, the chronic corruption, dysfunction, the hate. If we're not paying attention, though, and we know this, but it's easy to forget, this saturation begins to write its own script beneath the surface of our lives, that things are too broken to fix, that nothing we do will matter, and that despair is an understandable response. And when that story settles in quietly or seeps in, resignation can actually start to feel like realism. In other words, it sounds like, well, that's the way it is. This week, in my own reflection, I became more aware that I've been keeping my fears at arm's length. Not because I don't feel them, but because naming them has felt like a door, opening a door I wasn't sure I could close again. I thought if I gave them voice, well, they might take over. Kind of an irrational that they'll just consume me whole. But I've come to remember a deep spiritual truth. Naming our fears is not the same as surrendering to them. I think we get afraid to talk about those fears because we're afraid of spiraling down ourselves and those around us. But when we speak our fears, not with panic, but with tenderness, when we pause long enough to notice the stories we have attached to those fears, we can begin collectively to reclaim a sense of agency. Because we know fears unexamined, kept within, tend to dictate. But fear seen clearly can begin to loosen. It's not the fears, my friends, that are holding us captive, or me from day to day. It's the stories we tell ourselves about what those fears mean for us. When we look directly at fear, we can ask, is this story I'm holding true? Who taught me to believe that? And does it really serve me? Does it serve us, our community? Because here's another truth. Fear isolates. It urges us inward, to silence, to secrecy. It says, keep it to yourself. Don't bring it out. But that's the lie fear tells us. We were never meant to hold fear alone. This, I believe, is one of the many reasons why we come here, why we seek spiritual community, because somewhere deep inside we long for a space where our fears can be spoken honestly and still be held in love, where vulnerability is not a weakness, but a path to connection, where courage is no longer seen as a solo heroism. It's something we continue to build together. In community, we remember we are not the only ones who feel afraid. We are not the only ones who doubt our capacity to know what to do. And we are not the only ones struggling to hold on to hope, to envision hope. But in the telling, in the sharing, we begin to move from isolation to much-needed companionship, from quiet despair to renewed resolve. When we name our fears together, thank you, sister, thank you. We examine the stories, that's all I got. So we examine the stories. When we examine the stories that are connected to our fears, we're not just venting. When we just talk about the fears, venting. When we talk about the stories we're attaching to the fears, we're opening up space for real companionship. Because even as dread is contagious, so is that yearning. So is that yearning for hope. So is that yearning to be listened, to be reminded of who we really are. A grounded hope, and I love this image, a grounded hope can spread like light on glass, quiet but radiant. It reminds us of what's still possible. Together we help each other to reflect inwardly and also outwardly. It's not just the world we wish it to be, but the world as it is, to sit soberly with what is. Historian Timothy Snyder reminds us that democracies don't usually fall in a single moment. They erode slowly through attacks on truth, the breakdown of trust, and the loss of shared meaning. Wow, right? We are being called, my friends, as liberal religionists, to a politics of imagination, one rooted in moral courage and collective resolve. James Luther Adams, our Unitarian ancestor, lived through the rise of Nazism. He warned then that liberal religion can drift into fear and helplessness. He taught us that democracy doesn't sustain itself. It must be renewed again and again by people of conscience. And that courage is alive right now. Can you feel it? That courage, that resistance is alive right now. Can I get another hallelujah back there? Thank you. Indivisible, if you don't know them, go to their website, is organizing neighbors into civic networks. One district, one town, one hall, one conversation at a time, born in response to this historic moment. It offers practical tools and moral clarity, equipping all of us to know what we might do in any given day. Every Thursday, Indivisible co-founders help wade through the week's news, answer citizens' questions, and provide timely calls for action. Sometimes a condensed sense of what's happening can be a helpful place to stop us feeling so slow in response. As a working class kid from a family of working class labor union members, labor unions are rising again with new energy, new coalitions, and renewed moral power. They're saying our labor is not disposable, our lives are not negotiable, and they are not just fighting for themselves. Labor unions are also standing on the front lines against political efforts to erode workers' rights, including those spearheaded by our president at the moment and his allies, who have long sought to weaken the National Labor Relations Board, dismantling protections that we have fought greatly for in working class life. They are defending not only wages and benefits, but the very principles that workers deserve a voice in shaping the systems that govern their lives. We have some very, very courageous union leaders right now on the streets. Their resistance is a moral fact, a testament to the enduring belief that democracy belongs not just in the ballot box, but on the shop floor and the picket lines. I am inspired by the many Indigenous leaders who are defending land and life, often at great personal risk. I'm looking at you, Nancy, having been out with Indigenous folks from Standing Rock to the Amazon. They are resisting environmental destruction. But more than resistance, if you tune into this movement and listen and really read those who are giving visionary leadership, they're offering ancestral wisdom and spiritual traditions that see land as sacred. They can help us to feel the ground underneath us in ways that we're not normally accustomed to, that we very much need now when we feel so unsteadied. Marginalized communities, often bearing the deepest wounds of injustice, are leading with vision and love. Black-led movements for racial justice continue to ignite moral awakening. Trans and queer organizations are creating models of mutual aid and radical inclusion. I see my good colleague, Jamie Sorrentino, is here. He told me about this wonderful local effort, a local gender-affirming, closet-free, pop-up community events formed by 2 local therapists, inviting all of us to bring gently used clothing, shoes, accessories, and I like this, anything fabulous, to share with our community. It's not even just about sharing resources, it's about coming together. It's coming together in this community. A beautiful program, 2 therapists dreamed up. All of these communities, and you know so many more, so when you're talking about the woes of the world with each other in the coffee hour, talk about where you are finding a place of engagement. Talk about who and what inspires you, who gives you hope even when you feel it's hard to hold. The Poor People's Campaign is marching again, echoing the unfinished dreams of Dr. Luther King Jr. As of May 2025, so right now, they are actively mobilizing across the United States to confront systemic poverty, racial justice, and policy rollbacks under the Trump administration. They have a great website. It gives you concrete ways to contribute and support this moment. I am so inspired. Are you inspired by the many ordinary citizens? You're here. They're out there creating podcasts. I have taken breaks from the news to specifically go to podcasts about people that are bringing visions and ideas and organizing strategies, but also how they are managing to stay afloat spiritually in this time. I love the public art installations, bringing resistance message to rock concerts. Thank you, Bernie Sanders. These acts may seem small, but together they form a powerful mosaic of resistance and renewal, a quiet revolution of imagination made real. These practices, when we give witness or actually take part of, can deepen our roots. And when fear rises, it helps us to stay grounded. As we remember, we are always part of something larger. And from that rooted place, not the place I found myself that day when I went home and was completely enveloped in dread, is that we act not from panic, but from purpose, not alone, but together. Despair thrives when imagination withers. Take that in. Despair thrives when imagination withers. Project 2025 is hoping for just that. When despair thrives, imagination withers. But when we reclaim imagination as sacred and purposeful, we unlock its power to animate hope and action. And so, friends, let's not waste our imagination on fear or hand it over to wishful thinking. That's the other place. Oh, I'm sure it'll be, No. Let our imagination be our compass. And when we falter, and we will, may we return to one another for compassionate listening and encouragement to help us reground us, to help us find our way again. And may we continue together
to create a sanctuary of spirit here and what we carry out into the world, where fear is named but not obeyed, where imagination is free to do its sacred, world-healing work in us and outside of us. Blessed be.
What a great message. And now we're going to sing our imagination and remind ourselves that we are all together in this. Far beyond the grasp of hand, or light to meet the eye, past the reaches of the mind. There find the key to nature's harmony in a real architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all the joy in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees who stir before the first breath of the wind is yet received. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of life long past that touch our own are written in the earth, ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony is to us all life's worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms divine. Vast and immeasurable time and space, also overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years just might I know the faith and winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
So let us dream bravely. Let our imagination be a much-needed sanctuary. May our lives be a living prayer for the world that is still waiting to be born. May this be so. Shalom, amen, peace.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service has ended. Let our true service now begin.
So I'm about to sing you a love song, and it's a very interesting love song because the story behind it changes what you might imagine is going on in it. It's the last song that George Gershwin wrote, and he died shortly after writing it on the operating table because he had a brain tumor. His brother Ira Gershwin, who had written all the lyrics to all his songs, hadn't written any lyrics to this song yet, and the lyrics became the amazing love song, Our Love Is Here to Stay. But it's really a love song from Margaret and George. So that's a little bit different than you might imagine. But I wanted to say something about its place in the Great American Songbook. And the Great American Songbook is a place where everybody's imagination can soar. It is, you know, you might imagine yourself with luck being late tonight, you might imagine smoke getting in your eyes, all sorts of things you can imagine if you listen to the songs of the Great American Songbook, including Our Love Is Here to Stay. And I wanted to say that one of the principles that guides my life regarding imagination is the concept of building castles in the air. If you build no castles in the air, you build no castles anywhere. So let's follow the tune and imagine the love between two brothers. The more I read the papers, the less I comprehend the world and all its capers, and how it all will end.
my son.